Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Crafty Beer Reviews. Today I will be reviewing the latest release from Stone. Man, I really do say that a lot, don't I? Oh well, that's alright. So what are we having today? This is the Quadrotriticale. Wow, a mouthful, again, from Stone. Go figure. This is a part of their Stochasticity project, and this is actually a really interesting one. It is a Belgian-style quad, and they are using, as you may have guessed from the name, a grain called triticale. Now, you might be wondering, what the hell is triticale? I sure as hell didn't know what it was. It is a hybrid grain that is a blend of basically rye and wheat, which I think that's kind of an interesting hybrid. And they're also using Belgian dark candy sugar in this one. Now, what's really cool, and I didn't know this at first either, is that this was originally intended to be the Vertical Epic 10-10-10. As you guys probably have figured out at this point, this is obviously Stone's next avenue for creating kind of weird, interesting, different beers from their normal stuff, and so this was planned to be a Vertical Epic beer. They didn't get around to making it, so they finally brought this one up. I'm excited to try it. This is pretty fresh at time of reviewing, so let's go ahead and check out the aroma. Oh wow, well the first thing I'm getting is definite banana, very, very big clove as well. Getting some fruity yeast esters in there. Definitely smells like it's on the sweeter side too. I'm getting a little bit of caramel. Maybe kind of like a slightly burnt toffee. Yeah, it definitely kind of has that sugary type of aroma to go along with the fruity yeast esters. There's not a particular type of fruit that I can really pick out. Maybe a slight raisin type of note. Not really getting the traditional dark fruits that you get from a quad though, but definitely, banana, clove right up front. Yeah, it smells like an alright beer. Let's go ahead and take our first sip. Oh, no, that's interesting. Right away, the first thing I'm actually getting are some of those dark fruits that I wasn't getting in the aroma, oddly enough. I'm getting a little bit of fig, there's some definite raisin, a touch of prune. It's kind of lighter, though. It's not these like huge, full-flavored fruit notes. They're a little bit on the lighter side. Definitely getting a little of the banana and clove. It's not nearly as big as it was in the aroma. I'm also getting a little bit of kind of some spiciness in there. It's not really, really forward, but again, I guess it's from the triticale since it's a hybrid of the rye and the wheat, so I'm definitely getting a little bit of that spiciness from rye, but it's not super, super strong. I'm definitely picking up on some of those fruity yeast esters. I'm getting a little bit of kind of some earthiness as well. The body, surprisingly, is actually a little bit lighter than you would expect for this style. I'd say it's more on the medium side. And then the mouthfeel is super, super creamy, almost velvety smooth. I think that's probably also coming from the triticale since it has that wheat component in there. It kind of has that wheat beer type of mouthfeel to it. It's got a little less of that typical effervescence that you expect from this style as well. It's not nearly as bubbly as a lot of Belgian styles are, but it's got a decent enough carbonation, but a little low. The alcohol is pretty well hidden for this being super fresh. That was one concern that I was definitely having. Concern this is over 9%. These types of beers do not usually drink too smooth right out of the gate. And this one's not bad. I don't really smell any alcohol. I can't really taste it. I get a definite warmth as it goes down. But it's not offensive. Even if it is noticeable, it just means that this is not super, super easy to drink. It is very smooth, though. And I think that from the triticale edition, you just get that really kind of creamy mouthfeel, which is, it's kind of weird to have the taste of a quad go with that type of mouthfeel, but it's a very interesting experience. On the back end is where I'm getting a little bit more of this sweetness. I'm definitely getting a little bit of that sugary sweetness, some caramel, some toffee as well, but it's not overly sweet. Again, something that I was kind of concerned with this beer. Yeah, all in all, it's a pretty good beer. It definitely does not remind me of any other Belgian-style quad. This is definitely more of an American take, not very true to the Belgian style overall, in my opinion. I mean, you do have a little bit of those dark fruits, but they're not super, super bold. You get a little bit of sweetness, touch of that banana and clove, definitely getting a little bit of rice spiciness. It makes for an interesting beer, but it's definitely not your traditional quad. Again, I guess with this project though, why would it be your traditional quad, right? That totally makes sense. Triticale is obviously a very interesting type of grain to brew with, but I think it's worked pretty well. This is kind of a hard one to grade because I like it, but I am super, super, super picky with my Belgian styles. And this one really is not like your traditional quad, and I prefer traditional quads much, much more over this. That being said, it's not a bad beer. So as far as the rating goes, guys, I'm going with an 8 out of 10. I think that this fresh is interesting. You know, you're getting some fruity yeast esters, the dark fruits, but they're not super, super forceful. You get a little bit of rice spiciness, you know, some more of those traditional Belgian elements like the clove and banana. You're getting some sweetness. It's not overly sweet, though. It's not overly cloying. I think, though, that this will age really, really nicely. I picked up another bottle because I suspected this one would only get better with age, and I think that after drinking this, that is true. I think those dark fruits will probably continue to develop more, and I think that this will just blossom into a really nice beer further down the road. So, picked up one more. Maybe I'll open it up in another year or two. I might go ahead and wait 2 years, because I don't really want to pick up another bottle besides the extra one I have. So, interesting beer, just don't expect your traditional quad. That being said, it's also pretty damn easy to drink overall, despite a little bit of warmth. Now, as far as my musical recommendation, guys, I want you to check out a very interesting group by the name of Mastodon, and what is that? Okay, it's a brand new album, so I wasn't sure of the name. It's called Once Around the Sun. It just came out. Now, many of you are probably fans of Mastodon. They've gotten to be pretty big for a metal group. They're interesting, though. They've definitely evolved from their early records. Now, this latest one, there's kind of elements of progressive music. There's definitely elements of psychedelic rock, progressive metal, heavy metal. There's even some kind of poppy hooks in their music now, which is very interesting. I really dig it, but it does not sound anything like old Mastodon, in my opinion. That being said, if you guys like something that just has like all these different elements connected to metal, I think that it's a super interesting record and definitely worth checking out. Alright guys, that does it for this beer review. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And I hope whatever you're doing involves good craft beer. See ya.